It snapped completely off. The entire free edge. Gone. One impact. She texted me, "It really hurts. What do I do?" And before I could even respond, she had already filed down the rest of her nails herself. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what happened, why it happened, the biomechanics of nail breaks that most nail techs never explain, and how we turned that situation into the set you're looking at right now. But first, I need to tell you something about my own mistake, and I don't love admitting this. Stay until the end because I'm going to tell you what I would have done differently, and it's something every nail tech and every client needs to hear. If you've been following this channel for a while, you already know her. She's been on here before. She's been my client for 3 years, one of the very first clients I ever had. She has a signature. Every single nail different, always. No two the same, and that's exactly how she wants it. Her previous set was stunning. Long almond, gel with gold glitter and green flakes, dark stamping on top. The kind of set that makes strangers stop you on the street. But there was a problem. 3 corrections in a row, and we never touched the length. 3. Honestly, we both knew, but the nails looked so good neither of us wanted to cut them. That's the mistake. Not technique, length management. If you've ever avoided cutting length because they look so good right now, hit the like button because this one's for you. Let me explain what actually happened here, because this is something the nail industry almost never talks about. A long nail acts as a lever. The longer the free edge, the more mechanical force gets transferred to the stress point, the area where the natural nail plate transitions to the product on top every single time it takes an impact. Now, here's the key thing. The gel was being refreshed at every single appointment. The structure was correct. That was not the issue. The issue was that with each correction, the nails kept growing, and for 3 corrections, we didn't touch the length. 3 corrections of growth with no length adjustment. The lever got longer and longer until one impact was all it took. And when gel snaps that suddenly, the mechanical stress transfers directly to the natural nail plate. There isn't always visible damage, but the pain is real. And then she did something I actually love. She grabbed a nail file and filed down the rest of her nails herself so she wouldn't hit them. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe now, because on this channel, we talk about nails without gatekeeping, even when the mistake is mine. She walks in, hands me her hand. I see 1 nail with no free edge at all, and 4 nails she filed down herself. Clean edges, gel respected. I told her, "You did exactly the right thing." She looked at me like she expected to get in trouble. But no, I actually give all of my clients a nail file to take home, on purpose, exactly for situations like this. So when the length starts to become a problem in their day-to-day life, they can manage it without waiting for their next appointment. Here's why a file and not scissors or nail clippers. Scissors and clippers create an abrupt shear force on the gel. That shear can create a microfracture, a stress line invisible to the eye that becomes your next unexpected break. A file works progressively. It abrades rather than cuts, and that respects the gel's structure without creating new fracture points. She looked at me for a second, then said, "I seriously thought you were going to get mad at me." And I said, "Why? You did what I taught you." That's exactly what this channel exists for, so you know what to do when it happens. Has your nail tech ever given you a file to take home? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious how common this is. After we talked through what happened, she said exactly what I expected. "I think I want to go shorter for a while." I get it, completely. The fear after a break is real. Nobody wants to repeat that. But here's what I need you to understand. The break did not happen because the nails were long. The break happened because we didn't adjust the length for 3 corrections in a row. Length is not the enemy. Unmanaged length is. When is a client actually ready to wear length? When the tech talks about shortening at every correction, when you're both reading the signals. Does it feel like it's pulling? Does it bend when you pick things up? And acting before something breaks. That's what separates a client who can wear length from a client who keeps breaking. Now, what I said I'd tell you? What I would have done differently. The technique was right. The gel was refreshed at every appointment. The structure was solid. None of that was a problem. What I would have done differently, at the previous appointment, I should have told her, we're shortening today, not as a suggestion, as a professional call. The tech carries responsibility here too. It's not just about what the client wants, it's about what the client needs. Before I show you how the nails came out, if you want more no gatekeeping content like this, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. All right, let's get into the work. First thing, the broken nail. This required a specific structural decision. There was zero free edge left. The impact had taken all of it. In this situation, I chose to build on a gel tip, and here's why. Without a free edge, using a dual form is extremely difficult. The gel tends to flood. Building strong lateral walls is much harder, and sealing the growth points reliably becomes a real challenge. The gel tip gave us a solid framework, a rigid scaffold with a clean, almost crystal clear free edge. We bonded it with base gel, built over it, and had a proper working surface. Then E-file to reduce length and level, hand file to shape into almond, fully controlled process. Now the design on that specific nail, which is honestly one of my favorites in the whole set. We covered the nail bed with color, leaving the French smile line completely transparent. Then black stamping over the top. The result? The stamped pattern sits over the colored section, but the transparent smile line reads through. You can see the transparency even through the stamping. That layered depth is what makes it work. And something I do on every single nail, and not every tech does this, I seal the inside of every nail with top coat. 2 reasons. First, it enhances the transparency. The inside becomes more crystalline, more alive. Second, and this is the one that matters most to me, it seals the natural nail plate from the inside. No dirt, no moisture getting in. The nail is protected. It looked incredible. She knew the second she saw it. Now, the rest of the set. She always does every nail different. No two the same, never. That's her style. That's her signature. This time, 5 different designs using stamping and gel polish. Animal print, but with personality. Write them, triangle French in a single intense fuchsia. One color, but the shape does everything. A triangular arch reads completely different from a classic French. No extras, just the shape and the fuchsia. Index, solid fuchsia. No design needed, the color is the statement. Middle, fuchsia French with black zebra stamping over the top. The nail bed has color, the smile line stays transparent, and the zebra print runs across the whole nail. The transparency reads through the stamping. That depth, that's the whole point. Ring, French in red, not a solid red nail, a French with a bright red free edge. Natural nail bed visible, clean, precise. Pinky, black leopard stamping on a dark base. That tonal effect people think won't show up, and then it catches the light and it's the one everyone notices. And the left thumb. This one has a story. The green you're seeing doesn't exist in any catalog. We mixed it ourselves, combined existing gel polishes until we landed on exactly the shade she had in mind. Then dark green zebra stamping on top. Same plate as the black zebra, completely different result. Same pattern, different world. For the stamping, I used a large animal print plate. Zebra, leopard, snake patterns. A large format plate lets you cover the entire nail in one pass without losing the scale of the design. The stamper I use is transparent and square, so I can see exactly where the design is landing before I press. Zero guessing, zero placement errors. Nail by nail, we built something completely new out of what looked like a disaster. She looked at her hands and said, "I like these more than the last ones." And I said, "Of course, because these ones are right." She's been coming to me for 3 years. She's seen everything, seasonal sets, experiments, and now an epic break. And she keeps coming back, not because everything is perfect here, but because things are done with knowledge, with hygiene, and with honesty. Nails done right don't hurt, they don't damage. They're not a lottery. It's science, hygiene, and respect for the person. And every woman deserves to know that. She's coming back next week with new length, and we're trying something we've never done together. That's all I'm saying. beauty that is, above all, safe.